Here is the promised video on the FSU versus Michigan Orange Bowl 2017 game. I'm going to do the first quarter today, and I'm going to bring the second quarter tomorrow. At least that's my plan, but we'll see. But there was a lot, or at least I did a little bit more than I usually do in my analysis as I was watching for more things. But let's jump right into it. This video is probably going to be a bit long, so get your popcorn ready and sit and stay for a little bit. All right, so first things first. Let's see who opened the game. I think Florida State opened the game with the ball on offense here, and they had a 3 wide receiver set in their first play, shotgun formation, 1 running back, 1 tight end. Immediately, I noticed from the offensive line that number 70, who is Cole Minshew, who will be a starting guard on the team this year, he wasn't beat, but he was pushed back pretty far, so he kind of lost his leverage, and the Michigan defensive lineman got the best of him specifically. But Florida State's offensive line actually didn't do a bad job here in this game, at least not so far of what I've seen. Now, on the second play, so immediately the next play after, they had the same personnel. They just switched it up a little bit in terms of where people were situated among the formation. But I said they had, I guess, like okay-ish pass protection for DeAndre Francois here, as they were kind of pushed back, but they still had a pocket for him. Rick Leonard was pushed back pretty far, and he was close to Francois, but Francois didn't want to step up. He had some room to step up, actually. I guess he was just feeling kind of giddy. He didn't want to, and so he threw the ball away. And to be fair to him, if he had stepped up, there was a defensive tackle kind of looping around, but with his athleticism, Francois could have taken off there. So that's a play where I'm like, he'll probably learn from that. Eventually, it's like you want to step up there and maybe even take off if you need to. At the 14-minute, 29-second on the game clock, it was another run play here. Well, it was the first run play for FSU. And the center, who was Alec Eberle here, in the left guard, number 72, I forgot his name, but I think he graduated over to the NFL last year. They had a nice combo block in the interior of the line there. So this kind of gives credence to the fact that they're pretty good at run blocking. And they opened up a nice hole for it was Dalvin Cook here on the inside run. He did a pretty good job. And he got a first down, actually, about 10 to 12 yards. So really good run blocking up the middle for that offensive line. Now, at the 14-minute, 11-second mark of the game, there were 2 wide receivers, 1 fullback, 1 tight end. So already they're switching up these formations. They're bringing in their tight end. They're using their fullback, who I believe the fullback was Stevenson, number 23. And it was another run. So they ran out of this formation. And it was a counter run from to the left as Rick Leonard pulled from the right tackle spot. He pulled over and got to the left. And he got enough to talk with Charlton. Charlton was being a bit ambitious on this play. He was trying to just get back to the backfield and get the running play. But Rick Leonard was able to get to the outside of him and keep him inside. Dalvin Cook danced to the outside and got a nice play. So Michigan was a bit undisciplined on that play, specifically Charlton, as he did not play that counter relatively well. But it was a good job of execution by Florida State. Now, at the 13-minute, 41-second mark, Cole Minshew was blown into the backfield. I mean, it was on a run play too. I mean, he got whipped. He was pushed into the backfield, and was it 73 from Michigan? Maurice Hurst. I haven't seen a lot of Michigan tape, but Maurice Hurst, he's popped out a lot in this first quarter, and he just pushed him in and stopped Cook. Like, Cook had nowhere to go because Cole Minshew was pushed into the backfield. The 13-minute, 4-second mark here, Taco Charlton beat left tackle Roger Johnson, who went to the NFL, with a really nice spin move. I saw Brett Coleman. He's a YouTuber I watch who's really good at breaking down football and explaining a lot of concepts. So go watch him if you get the chance. But Brett Coleman, he did a little analysis of Taco Charlton because he was Dallas's first-round pick. And wait, was it Brett? I think it was Brett. It was either Brett or it was Vach Lombardi. I watch all these. They're all really good. I like watching them. They explain things so well. Either way, one of them did this, and they talked about how they wish he had to use more of his spin move, Taco Charlton, in general, because it was a really good spin move, but he rarely used it. And this is one of those cases where he did use it, and it turned out really well. put Roger Johnson on skates. He went right around him. Roger Johnson couldn't do anything to stop it. And he beat him easily. And he rushed Francois on the throw. And I don't know if it resulted in an incompletion or not, but I think it was. Now, at the 12-minute, 52-second mark, here, what happened? Oh, yeah, it was an incompletion because Francois had to just throw it up the field. 12-minute, 52-second mark. There's a nice run blocking on the goal line here. They got a nice push inside, and Roger Johnson in the left guard, they just washed down on some guys and took them out. Michigan just got blown off the line of scrimmage here, and they were gone. They were just pushed aside, and it turned out to be just a nice play. And I think they had extra linemen in as well on that play, tight ends, and they just went big. And, that's big boy football right there. Now, at the 12-minute, 47-second mark. Oh, well, before I do that, but that was a touchdown. So Florida State scored on that play, and then they just put a whipping on Michigan, scored that touchdown. Now, at the 12-minute, 47-second mark, this is Michigan's first time with the ball. So they're getting the ball here, and they had two tight ends, one fullback, one wide receiver. So they like to go jumbo too, like Florida State, and bring in different personnel. And their first play was a jet sweep to the receiver, and it was just swallowed up because the Florida State defense was running to the ball. And they got to him and stopped him like as soon as he turned the corner. Now, the 12-minute, 15-second mark, there was 3 down for FSU. So they kind of had like a 3-4 look here. They like to be multiple in their formations and switch people around, stood some guys up. I think they had DeMarcus Walker at the left end spot, Derek Noddy in the middle, and somebody else on the right side. And Josh Sweat, I think, was standing up. DeMarcus Walker, he just watch this play. I don't understand. Okay. He swiped away the right guard with ease and rushed in a hurry. Like, what made me pause and just kind of stop for a second was that I was remembering what I saw. And he basically just engaged the lineman and it just moved him out of the way. He just got out of his way with a nice quick. He has some nice short area quickness there, and he was just able to get right around him and go straight for the quarterback. And he made Spate move. Spate had to roll left really quickly, but he did find his outlet for a first down. So Spate actually showed off a little bit of his awareness there. To be able to just get away was impressive. Now, at the 11-minute, 45-second mark, FSU, the line held up the Michigan run play really easily. All the FSU linemen just stood their ground and anchored that run defense, and they did a good job. So that was a solid play. I love seeing good run defense, and Florida State did a good job there. So that was nice. And they had no movement. Like, the Michigan line could not move them. So at the 11-minute, 9-second mark, it was a nice pass protection for Michigan here, at least for the first couple of seconds. But FSU was coming, but it still was solid protection where Spate didn't really have to worry about the pass rush getting to him while he had time to throw. But even though that was the case, Tavares McFadden, who was number 4, had really tight coverage on the Michigan receiver, wide receiver number 82. And he was like all over. It was like a little hitch route, and he was just all over. He was tight on coverage when it started. Put a hands on the receiver at the line of scrimmage to like knock him out of his route. And when he stopped on the hitch route, he came right back for the ball. Didn't wait for the receiver to try to put the hands up, and he put hands on the ball when it got there and broke it up. So really nice play by Tavares McFadden in that short pass play. At the 11-minute mark, whoever was playing left end, because I didn't see who it was exactly, they got a quick first step, but the right tackle for Michigan did a really good job in protection. But either way, Spate was shaken up from the previous pressure anyway, and it just didn't turn out well for him in incompletion. Naquan Murray, so after that play, they punted, Michigan did, and Naquan Murray was coming back to return the punt. He actually muffed the punt here. And unfortunately, he was within the 5-yard line, so he probably should have been on the 10-yard line or a little bit further out and just let that ball bounce into the end zone. But he must have lost track of where he was, and he was trying to field the ball, and he muffed the punt. Michigan got the ball back. So the next play on the goal line, and so Florida State, we're looking at the punt return position, of course, in the fall. And I think Murray still maybe getting some looks, but I think they are kind of experimenting there. Next play on the goal line. Matt Thomas, is that who it was? I'm looking at this here. Oh, yeah, Matthew Thomas, the linebacker for Florida State, who's number 6. He came in unimpeded. They did not do anything to stop Matthew Thomas from flying through the line of scrimmage, and he smacked the Michigan running back, lost about 3 yards there. It was actually an impressive play. It was a good hit, but it was also just crazy that Michigan just completely whiffed on a block of him. Now, at the 10-minute, 3-second mark of the game clock, it was a nice play-action pass, very well designed by the offensive coordinator for Michigan. And this goes to show you that we blame the offensive coordinator for certain plays and whatnot, but sometimes they don't execute because the players didn't play well. So this is an example of that. Just a nice play-action pass. They moved the pocket off the play-action to give Spade a little bit extra time to the right, and they had the play develop to the left. The wide receiver became completely wide open. But Spade, feeling the pressure, he overthrew the pass. It sailed out of bounds past the receiver. And that's because FSU, they smart. They sent pressure at him. They sent Derwin James and number 16. I don't know who number 16 is at the moment. I have to look him up. But they sent them on the blitz. And he felt the pressure. He was like, I get the ball out. And he lofted it up, and he just lofted it too far, unfortunately. Let's see. The 9-minute, 53-second mark, Brian Burns was standing on the outside. They were kind of playing like more of that 3-4 type defense again. And Brian Burns, number 99, who plays defensive end, who was a true freshman last year, he was standing, and he actually dropped back into zone coverage. He started out kind of covering the guy in his zone, and then he just kind of laid back and played more zone. It was kind of cool to see. And then also on this play, they blitzed Calvin Bruton, who was number 10, and Carlos Becker, who was number 15, who may be working for that backup boundary corner spot for Florida State this year. I think that he has been getting a lot of looks there. Florida State fans, you can correct me if I'm wrong. From the right side. So they brought both of them from the right side of the formation, of the defensive formation, and they pressured Spade. And they got a good goal line stand there. It was just Spade just kind of threw his outlet, but it only made it back to like the 2-yard line. And so they ended up having to kick a field goal. Had to settle here because they just couldn't play well. And the pressure was really getting to it. So Florida State had a really good goal line stand there. That's just a good defensive play here. Now, Spade, if he hadn't overthrown that ball, he could have drawn a touchdown. But Florida State put pressure on him. So that's a good job by Florida State. Now, the 9-minute, 11-second mark of the game clock. It's a 5-wide set by FSU. They had good pass protection from Francois, and they had Dalvin Cook as a receiver on the left side of the formation, far left. And they put him on a go route. And they put him on a go route because then Michigan was showing something in the defense that allowed Florida State to say, you know what, we need to take advantage of the fact that they're putting a linebacker on Cook, and they let him cover him. So they put him out there, and the linebacker went out there as they thought. And so they was like, Cook going to go route. Cook went on the go route and beat this guy really easily. DeAndre Francois lofted the ball out there, but the way he threw the ball, he lofted it too much, and it hung in the air a little bit. It didn't go up the field as much as it needed to for it to be a touchdown. He got enough on it for it to still be an explosive play down the field, but it could have been a touchdown. By the way, good play down the field. Good job to take advantage of the scheme. Now, at the 8-minute, 17-second mark, there was a mistake and pass protection here for Florida State. They Leonard double-teamed Rick Leonard, who's the right tackle, double-teamed the defensive tackle instead of blocking Taco Charlton. Now, it's just me, but I would think that they will want you to block Taco Charlton and not let him get a free pass at the quarterback. And that's unfortunately what happened. Taco Charlton smacked DeAndre Francois. He smacked him badly. Like, he hit him really, really hard. Francois didn't see it coming either because he was looking at the left side of the field. He was probably going to attack his receiver on a inside route between. So I think it was like almost like a go-ish route where the cornerback was playing a flat and the safety was playing over the top. So it looked like a cover two. A cover two was some type of blitz maybe. And the receiver was in between that flat and the deep part of the zone. So he was probably trying to hit him in there because that's the way he was looking and he was about to throw. And Charlton just laid him out. And he was on the ground for a while. He was hurt pretty badly. But that definitely had to be miscommunication and a mistake for pass blocking because you don't want Taco Charlton on a free rush to your quarterback. Now, at the 8 minutes, so he had to go out of the game for a play. So at the 8-minute, 10-second mark, Sean McGuire had to step in here. And it was just a shotgun handoff to Cookie. Like, they didn't want to risk Sean McGuire, coming in not fresh, throwing an interception. So they just handed the ball off to Dalvin Cook on a run. And it was some nice blocking on that play. Actually got a few yards. Now, on the 7-minute, 31-second mark, let me see what happened. What happened? Oh, but eventually they had to punt because, they just did a couple shotgun handoffs, run to lessen the, what's the word here? I guess risk of Sean McGuire throwing the pick. So they just wanted to run the ball and give the ball back and let their defense do their thing, which is a smart thing to do if your defense has been playing as well as it has in the first 8 minutes of this first quarter. So now at the 7-minute, 31-second mark, it was more of a 3-4 set here for the Florida State defense. Again, they like doing this formation every once in a while. Josh Sweat was standing up at the right side of the defense on the linebacker spot, and FSU line stood Michigan up again. Number 55 specifically, who is Frederick Jones, who's a backup defensive tackle. I like watching this guy. He got some push on this play. Frederick Jones, man, I was like, on this play alone, I was impressed watching him. He got his leverage, got into that guard, and pushed him into the backfield. And he actually probably had the deepest penetration on this play. It was really impressive to see. Unfortunately for him, though, he couldn't secure the tackle for loss. He got the tackle, but he couldn't secure the tackle for loss. He was so far into the backfield that he could have put the running back down for a loss. But unfortunately, it's like he wasn't strong enough. He grabbed onto the running back, and the running back was able to drag him for about 3 yards and get past the line of scrimmage. So that's unfortunate, but it was still an awesome display of his ability to win with leverage and push his guy into the backfield. So Frederick Jones, good job on that play. 6-minute, 55-second mark. It's a very nice pocket for Wilton Speight here as he lofts. So they actually protected really well on this play for one of the few times in this first quarter. Speight lost down the left sideline for his wide receiver, number 82, over departed defensive back Marquez White, who was with my Dallas Cowboys. White was beaten a little bit on this play, but he recovered really well. He was actually on the hip of the receiver, and he was running with him. Unfortunately, he was kind of in that when you're running, trying to catch up as a DB, and you're kind of using more of your effort run, you really can't turn around and look for the ball as well and get ready to jump and impact the ball because you're running so fast and you haven't had time to get your feet ready to jump or to play the ball. So unfortunately, even though he was there right on the receiver, he hadn't had time to break down to jump up and knock the ball away. And the receiver, all he did was he took advantage of that, jumped up and caught the ball. So yeah, Marquez White was a victim of not being able to impact the ball here. It's a nice play by Michigan to take advantage of that. Now, at the 6-minute, 46-second mark, Derek Nottie on a stunt. So they did a stunt play here. And actually, actually, they used Sweat or Walker here, I think they used Walker here. They had both of them playing in the middle a little bit. And they allowed Sweat to they allowed Walker to come around this way. And Nottie went around here, and he got a free pass. Now, it's just me, but you don't want that huge man coming at you over 300 pounds, ready to smack you. And Wilton Speight, he definitely did not want that to happen. Speight saw it coming immediately because it was a free pass. That stunt freed him up completely to basically get a sack or to crush the quarterback. And Speight just threw it incomplete. He's like, got to get the ball out of there. The line on this particular play I found very interesting because it was Sweat, Walker, Nottie, and Burns. So yeah, that's what it was. The stunt people were Nottie and Walker. And Burns was on that far defensive end spot, the pass rushing defensive end on the left side of the defensive line to get pressure. And Sweat was on the right side. They put a lot of talent on that play for the rush. Now at the 6-minute, 30-second mark, the Michigan front did a great job of beating the FSU line, and this is back when Florida State has the ball again, on an outside run. So Florida State here is on an outside run, trying to stretch the ball over here to the left. But Michigan's defense just, they read the play well, stood all the Florida State linemen up, and they could not get anything going. Now, at the 6-minute, 3-second mark, Alec Eberle was beaten immediately by this man again, number 73, Maurice Hurst. This guy had a good game, at least in the first quarter so far. And Maurice Hurst just kind of just whipped him. He went right by him. Eberle could do nothing. And Charlton set the edge really well. and just stuffed the run play because they had nowhere to go. Immediate penetration by Maurice Hurst and Taco Charlton preventing him from going around, and the play was stuffed. Let's see. I think also Florida State here they used. I think at this time I was noticing on this drive they used a lot of 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, or 2 tight end and 1 or fullback set on this drive, and they were trying to more establish more to run again. They trying to make sure that DeAndre Francois was okay after that hit. At the 5-minute 16-second mark, the left guard, number 72, he was beaten, as I say, too easily here, and the fullback couldn't stop Maurice Hurst again. Maurice Hurst. So Maurice Hurst beat number 72. He beat Eberle, then he beat 72. Number 7, I don't know what he was doing, what the left guard was doing in this play, but Maurice Hurst just went right by him. I mean, this guy's talented, Maurice Hurst, obviously. I don't know if this was an issue of awareness by the offensive line or were they just getting beat badly by this guy, but they could not stop him. And the fullback, realizing that Maurice Hurst had a free run at the play, he tried to get in the way, but he couldn't do anything. I mean, you're a fullback. And run play stopped. 4-minute, 29-second mark. A few extra, well, I thought it was a few extra linemen, but I found out they just had to use some big tight ends here for Michigan. They brought in a couple tight ends and they moved the pocket again to protect Spate. They're trying to get away from this Florida State rush, which was very dangerous, I admit, at this point in the game. But they sent Tavares McFadden, Florida State did, on a corner blitz. So McFadden came in rushing from the corner. Spate actually escapes this play. This play was impressive. You got to go back and look at this. I mean, seriously, look at this play. The 4-minute, 29-second mark of the first quarter. Go look at this play. Spate escapes the pressure from McFadden and then just kind of runs around, escapes some more pressure. The defensive lineman's on him, about to sack him. He fires this sidearm pass out of nowhere for a dump off to the running back. The running back catches it and runs for a first down. I don't know what happened. That play was crazy. Just go see it. So it was nice. Now, next play was a quick snap on a running back sweep. They tried to, take advantage of FSU being real in, but FSU was all over it. They rallied to stop the play. They weren't going to be abused by hurry up there, and they stopped it. Now, at the 3-minute, 30-second mark, Derek Nottie, I like watching this guy, was pushing that left guard. He pushed the Michigan left guard further back than anybody else on the defensive line on this particular play did. He had him in the backfield. Derek Nottie put some work on this man and put him into the backfield. So I noticed a lot of you Florida State fans were telling me about the defensive tackles. I'm noticing, hey, they look pretty good out here. I haven't heard a lot from Christmas in this game yet, but definitely Nottie and Jones, and when Walker was in on defensive tackle, he did pretty well. So I was like, hey, I like watching these guys work. But yeah, he pushed me back there. And Walker was pushing from the inside as well, but Nottie was definitely visible here. At the 3-minute, 23-second mark, it was a screen pass. But what happened on the screen pass? But Brian Burns kind of shows off his quickness on his pursuit of the QB. Even though it's a screen pass, and they allow the rushers to rush up the field, so it wasn't like he just beat his guy really, really bad because the guy was bad. They kind of were baiting him to rush the quarterback, but either way, it still was a way of showing off Brian Burns' talent because on his way to rushing up the field, he put a nice little juke move on the right tackle, and it was really quick. He just kind of gave him a inside juke here, and immediately he just kind of wrapped around him. And I was like, wow, that is a lot of quickness. I'm imagining Brian Burns going against Matt Womack if he becomes the starting right tackle for Alabama this season. And Matt Womack has been said to be a little slow-footed at times, but he's very strong. So a power versus speed matchup, maybe. That'll be really interesting. But either way, Brian Burns kind of showed off some of his stuff there. Now, the 3-minute, 12-second mark, Naquan Murray, did not feel the inside the 10 on this punt return. So they obviously talked to him, and he let it bounce. So that was a smart play by Naquan Murray. Now, the 3-minute, 3-second mark was a really solid pass protection for Francois. The Florida State line did a good job here as he rolls left, and he fires just the ball down the left sideline to Naquan Murray. A lot of Florida State fans may remember this. It's the longest touchdown in Orange Bowl history, 92-yard pass here. It was nicely done as the ball was not behind Murray. Although it wasn't complete, it wasn't as far ahead of him as it could have been. Could have kind of let him keep running full speed, but Murray adjusted to it well. He didn't overrun the ball, so the way that Francois threw it, it could have been overrun if Murray had just been burning a jet. But Murray just kind of changed his stride up a little bit and continued to run, and he was allowed to catch it kind of in his hands like this. So good job of quarterback and receiver of getting the ball to each other. And I counted the distance. Francois threw the ball from 1 foot inside the goal line to the 49-yard line. So that's a 50-yard pass. The ball was legitimately traveling in the air for 50 yards. So nice pass play right there. Solid enough arm by Francois to get the ball down the field like that. So good play. And it was a touchdown. 2-minute 49-second mark. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. DeMarcus Walker from the left end spot. Just the best way to describe it, he just kind of knifed inside of the right tackle's left hip pocket. Right tackle just, what to do. DeMarcus Walker just, if this is the right tackle, DeMarcus Walker just went right through him, and I was like, okay. He just let the guy run right in, and he just drops the running back because he came in unimpeded, showing off that short area quickness. Now, the 2-minute 15-second mark, it was 5 people on the line of scrimmage for Florida State on their defensive front here, as they sent number 16, who was Jacob Pugh. So that's the guy who I was talking about earlier when I said I don't know his name yet. Number 16 was Jacob Pugh, and he came in and blitzed from the right side. 1-minute 27-second mark. So that's something we got to look out for formation-wise. Florida State had that normal 4 defensive lineman down, but they also sent Jacob Pugh, who is known as the rusher as well. 1-minute 27-second mark. Walker, Sweat, and Noddy were the only rushers. They were the only rushers on this play. Keep this in mind. Walker, Sweat, and Noddy. And they still got the sack on Michigan. So they were whipping this Michigan offensive line. Walker swam inside the left guard with ease. So I just keep mentioning how DeMarcus Walker is abusing guys over here, just like Maurice Hurst was abusing the interior of the Florida State line. And DeMarcus Walker swam inside the left guard with ease. He won't be on Florida State this year because he's in the NFL now, but he beat the left guard just too easily. Really nice swim move. No resistance from the Michigan left guard. Now, at the 0-minute 35-second mark, Francois had nice protection here, but he forced the ball. So he forced the ball here. He didn't have to throw this. He forced the ball to Alden Tate. It was a bad decision because Alden Tate had no separation from Stribling, Michigan defensive back number 8. He had none. But go look at this play, 0-minute 35-second mark. He had no separation from Stribling. And then he was tall, so you can put it up high. So I understand why Francois did throw the ball the way he did. But there was also a safety right on top of the play. So at best, you're hoping your guy gets a nice catch using his tall body, out-muscling these 2 guys, or go incomplete. Or you risk, like I said, the incompletion and possibly an interception because that ball could have easily went over the receiver's head and the defensive back could have just jumped up and caught the interception. You just never know what happened with tip passes in crowded areas. So that wasn't the best decision by Francois, even though he was trying to make a play. But usually you don't want to throw that unless your guy has, if not some type of separation, or it's one-on-one. But it wasn't one-on-one, and the separation was negligible. So that's something to look out for. And then just the last play of the first quarter here. Wow, this thing almost went 30 minutes. It was a stretch run play to the left, and Michigan stopped it easily. So Michigan started picking up on some good run defense here for Florida State. Michigan's defensive line really, they started to kind of come alive here. And like, you know what, we're going to stop this running game. We'll see if that continues as I continue to watch the game here. Second quarter is coming up, hopefully tomorrow. But thank you all for watching. Let me know if you made it to the end once again. I always wonder who's watching these videos all the way. I don't know if you guys do. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what plays interested you. If you want to go look at them, go look at it and then tell me, what you thought about the play or whatnot. Leave it in the comment section. But I'll see you for the next video.